The morning sun had barely peeked over the rolling hills when little Lily woke up. She was just 6 years old, with messy pigtails and a missing front tooth. Every morning, rain or shine, the first thing she did was visit her horse, Copper. This morning felt different. The birds weren't singing their usual songs, and the farm was too quiet. Lily jumped out of bed, still in her cloud print pajamas, and ran downstairs. Her dad Tom was already up, his face looking worried as he talked on the phone. "Something's wrong with Copper," he told her, hanging up. "He's not standing up." Lily's heart sank as she slipped on her rubber boots and followed her dad to the stable. The smell of hay and horses usually made her happy, but today it couldn't stop the worry spreading through her chest. When they reached Copper's stall, Lily gasped. The beautiful golden horse that always greeted her with a gentle nudge was lying on his side in the straw. His big brown eyes looked scared. When he saw Lily, he tried to lift his head but couldn't seem to move much else. "Copper," she cried, rushing to kneel beside his neck. She stroked his soft mane, the way she had done thousands of times before. "What's wrong, boy? Why aren't you getting up?" Her dad knelt down too, checking the horse carefully. "I don't know, sweetie. Dr. Wilson is on her way." Copper was no ordinary horse. The 12-year-old Palomino had been part of their family farm since before Lily was born. He was supposed to be her mom's horse, but from the moment Lily could walk, she and Copper had formed a special bond. He was gentle and patient, letting her brush his mane for hours and carefully carrying her on slow rides around the paddock. Lily's mom Annie joined them, bringing a bucket of water. "Has he eaten anything?" she asked Tom. "Not since last night, it looks like," he answered, his voice heavy with worry. Lily didn't understand all the grown-up talk, but she knew enough to be scared. "Is Copper going to be okay?" she asked, her voice small. Before her parents could answer, Dr. Wilson's truck pulled up outside. The vet was a kind woman with curly hair who always had treats in her pockets for the animals and stickers for Lily. Today, though, she looked serious as she entered the stable with her medical bag. "Let me take a look," Dr. Wilson said, kneeling beside Copper. She checked his eyes with a small light, listened to his heart, and ran her hands along his spine. Copper made a painful sound when she touched his back. "Can you step outside with me?" she asked Lily's parents. "I want to stay with Copper," Lily insisted, wrapping her arms around the horse's neck. "Just for a minute, sweetie," her mom said gently. "You can come right back." Reluctantly, Lily kissed Copper's nose and followed her parents outside. But instead of going all the way out, she stopped just beyond the stable door, listening to the grown-ups talk. "It looks like he injured his spine during the night," Dr. Wilson was saying. "Maybe he got spooked and fell awkwardly. The tests will confirm, but from what I can see, he's paralyzed from mid-back down." "Will he recover?" Tom asked. Dr. Wilson's silence was long and heavy. "I don't think so. This kind of injury. Horses can't usually come back from it. They can't live comfortably without being able to stand." "So what are you saying?" Annie's voice cracked. "I'm saying you might need to consider what's most humane for Copper," the vet replied softly. "I can give him something for pain now, but eventually." Lily didn't need to hear more. Tears flooded her eyes and spilled down her cheeks. She understood what the doctor meant. They were thinking about putting Copper to sleep forever. She tiptoed back to Copper's stall and sat down in the straw beside him. His big eye watched her, somehow knowing she was sad. "I won't let them," she whispered, burying her face in his mane. "I promise, Copper. I won't let them." As her parents and Dr. Wilson returned, they found Lily curled up against her horse, both their faces wet, hers with tears, his with the gentle kisses she'd been giving him. What nobody knew yet was that this wasn't the end of their story. It was just the beginning of something that would amaze everyone who heard about it. Because sometimes love and determination can work miracles, even when science says it's impossible. That night, Lily couldn't eat her dinner. Her mashed potatoes grew cold as she pushed them around her plate with her fork. Her mind was still in the stable with Copper, who had been given medicine to make him comfortable. "Honey, you need to eat something," her mom said, reaching across the table to touch her hand. Lily shook her head. "I'm not hungry." Her parents exchanged worried looks. They knew this wasn't just about a pet. Copper was Lily's best friend. Dr. Wilson said we should think about what's best for Copper her dad said gently. She doesn't think he'll ever walk again. But what if she's wrong? Lily asked, her chin trembling. What if he just needs more time? Sweetie, her mom sighed, sometimes we have to accept hard things even when they hurt our hearts. Lily pushed her plate away and slid off her chair. Can I be excused? I want to check on Copper. Her parents nodded and Lily ran to grab her jacket. The evening air was chilly as she crossed the yard to the stable. Inside, Copper lay on fresh straw her dad had put down. Her dad had also rigged up a special padding so Copper wouldn't get sores from lying down too long. Hi, boy, she whispered, sitting cross-legged by his head. I brought you a carrot. Copper's ears perked up at the sound of her voice, and he took the carrot gently from her hand. At least his appetite was still good, Lily thought. That had to be a good sign. After Copper finished his treat, Lily pulled her mum's tablet from her jacket pocket. She wasn't supposed to take it without asking, but this was an emergency. Her first-grade teacher had taught them how to search for information online, and now Lily had important research to do. Let's see if other horses got better, she told Copper as her small fingers tapped on the screen. For the next hour, Lily searched and watched videos. She found stories about horses with injuries who recovered. She saw special equipment people used to help horses stand. She watched physical therapists working with animals, helping their muscles remember how to move. Her eyes grew wide with each new video. Yes, many people said horses with spine injuries had to be put down. But not all of them. Some got better with time and special care. Lily's heart beat faster with hope. When she heard footsteps approaching, she quickly tucked the tablet back in her jacket. Time to come inside, Lily, her mom called, poking her head into the stable. It's getting late, and you have school tomorrow. Mom, Lily said, standing up with determination in her eyes, I need to show you something when we get back to the house. Later that night, after showing her parents the videos she'd found, Lily stood in front of them in the living room. Her stuffed horse was clutched tightly under one arm for courage. I want 2 months, she declared. 2 months to help Copper walk again. Her parents looked at each other with concern. Lily, her dad started, Dr. Wilson said. 2 months, Lily interrupted, showing unusual boldness. If I can't help him by then, I'll understand. The last words were hard to say, and tears threatened to spill, but she held them back. Her mom knelt down to Lily's level. Honey, we don't want you to get your hopes up. It would be even harder to lose him after trying so hard. But what if it works? Lily countered. What if Copper just needs someone to believe in him? Something in her determined little face made her parents pause. They'd never seen her like this before. What would you do for 2 months? Her dad asked, curious despite his doubts. Lily pulled a piece of paper from her pocket, a list she'd made while watching the videos. In her wobbly handwriting were things like leg massages, standing practice, and special exercises. I've got a plan, she said proudly. I'll do everything the horse doctors did in the videos. Her parents examined the list, impressed by her research and determination. You'd have to do this every day, her mom warned. Before school and after. It would be a big responsibility. I'll do it, Lily promised. Copper would do it for me. After a long silence, her dad nodded slowly. 2 months, he agreed. But you have to understand that even with all your hard work, Copper might not get better. I understand, Lily said, though in her heart, she was already imagining Copper standing tall again, ready for gentle rides around the pasture. That night, Lily couldn't sleep. Her mind buzzed with plans and hopes. Tomorrow would be the first day of Copper's recovery. She had no idea of the challenges ahead, or how her stubborn love would soon amaze everyone around her, even the experts who said it couldn't be done. The first morning of Lily's plan started before sunrise. Her Mickey Mouse alarm clock barely finished its first ring before she silenced it and jumped out of bed. She'd laid out her clothes the night before, overalls and her favorite yellow t-shirt with a horse on it. Perfect for her first day as Copper's personal therapist. Her mom was surprised to find Lily already dressed and eating breakfast when she came downstairs. You're up early, she said, stifling a yawn. I made a schedule, Lily explained between spoonfuls of cereal. Morning therapy before school, afternoon therapy after school. She'd drawn up her plan in her notebook, complete with colorful drawings of Copper standing up again. Her mom looked at the page and couldn't help smiling at the determination of her little girl. In the stable, Copper greeted Lily with a soft, nickering sound. She'd brought a small portable radio and placed it near his stall. The videos said music helps, she told him, turning on some gentle country tunes. And talking lots, so you don't get bored. She chatted away as she began her work. First came the gentle massage. Lily's small hands worked on Copper's legs, starting at the hoof and moving upward. "We need to keep your muscles from forgetting how to work," she explained to him, repeating what she'd heard in the videos. When she reached spots that seemed sore, she worked extra gently, singing little made-up songs to keep Copper calm. "This is your Get Better song. Yes, it is," she sang, making up the tune as she went along. Her dad appeared at the stable door, watching with amazement as his 6-year-old daughter worked with the focus of someone 3 times her age. "Need any help, kiddo?" he asked. Lily looked up. "Can we make a sling thing like in the videos, to help Copper practice standing?" Her dad scratched his chin. "I could try. Let me think about how to make something safe." By the time Lily needed to leave for school, she had massaged all 4 of Copper's legs, fed him by hand, and read him 3 pages from her favorite storybook. "I'll be back this afternoon," she promised, kissing his nose. At school, Lily could barely focus. During art time, she drew pictures of Copper running through fields. At lunch, she told her friends about her horse therapy project. "My cousin's dog had a broken leg once," her friend Bobby said. "They put a cast on it." "Horses can't use casts for spine problems," Lily explained seriously. "They're too heavy. That's why we need the special sling." Her teacher, Mrs. Chen, overheard the conversation and was impressed by Lily's knowledge. "You've been doing research," she observed. Lily nodded. "I'm going to be a horse doctor when I grow up." When the school bell rang, Lily raced to her mom's car. "Hurry, Mom. Copper needs his afternoon session." That evening, Lily's dad appeared at the stable with some supplies. "I've been thinking about that sling," he said. "I talked to my buddy who works at the hardware store. We came up with this idea." Together, they began building a support system, a strong wooden frame with adjustable straps that could help bear Copper's weight while still allowing him to try to use his legs. It wasn't fancy, but it might work. "We'll need to be careful," her dad cautioned. "We don't want to hurt him worse." "We won't," Lily assured him. "We'll go super slow." As the days turned into weeks, Lily never missed a session. She kept a special notebook covered in horse stickers where she tracked every tiny sign of progress. "Copper moved his left back leg 1 inch today," she wrote on day 7. "He tried to shift his weight when I gave him an apple," she noted on day 12. Some days there was nothing new to write, but Lily didn't get discouraged. She'd read that healing takes time. On those days, she would simply write about Copper's mood or appetite. Her room became filled with horse rehabilitation books borrowed from the library. She watched videos on her mom's tablet over and over, learning new techniques to try. Dr. Wilson stopped by weekly to check on Copper and was amazed by Lily's dedication. "I've never seen anyone your age with such commitment," the vet told her. But the most remarkable thing was how Copper responded to Lily. When she entered the stable, his ears would immediately perk up. He seemed to try harder during their sessions, as if he understood she was fighting for his life. "He knows," Lily told her parents one evening. "Copper knows we're not giving up on him." Her parents nodded, beginning to wonder if perhaps their daughter's stubborn hope might not be so misplaced after all. With each passing day, the impossible was starting to seem just a little bit more possible. 6 weeks had passed since Copper's injury. The calendar on the kitchen wall had little star stickers marking each day of therapy, 42 golden stars in neat rows. Lily had not missed a single day, rain or shine. But this morning, something was wrong. When Lily entered the stable for her morning session, Copper didn't greet her with his usual soft, nickering sound. He lay still, his breathing faster than normal, his coat damp with sweat. "Copper?" Lily whispered, dropping to her knees beside him. She touched his neck and pulled her hand back in surprise. He was hot, really hot. She ran back to the house, her heart pounding. "Mom, Dad, something's wrong with Copper." Her parents rushed to the stable with her. Her dad felt Copper's neck and frowned. "He's burning up," he said. I'll call Dr. Wilson right away. Lily's mom put her arm around the little girl's shoulders. He might have an infection, sweetie. It can happen when animals lie in one position too long. Tears filled Lily's eyes. But I've been turning him and keeping his bedding clean, just like the video said to do. You've done everything right, her mom assured her. Sometimes these things just happen. Waiting for the vet was torture. Lily sat beside Copper, placing cool, damp cloths on his neck the way she'd seen her mom do when she had a fever last winter. She spoke to him softly, telling him to fight, to be strong. When Dr. Wilson arrived, her face grew serious as she examined Copper. She took his temperature, listened to his heart, and checked the areas where his body pressed against the ground. He has an infection, she confirmed, preparing an injection of antibiotics. It's in the pressure sores on his hip, and it's pretty serious. Will he be okay? Lily asked, her voice small. Dr. Wilson hesitated. We'll try these antibiotics, but I need to be honest with you all. This is exactly the kind of complication I was worried about. When horses can't stand, they develop these problems, and they can get very serious very quickly. After giving Copper the medicine and showing Lily's parents how to clean and treat the sores, Dr. Wilson asked to speak with them outside. Lily stayed with Copper, but she could hear their muffled voices through the stable wall. Quality of life question. Prolonging suffering. Time to reconsider. She knew what they were talking about. They wanted to give up on Copper. After all her work, all their progress, they were back to talking about putting him down. That evening, Lily's parents sat with her at the kitchen table. Her mom had made her favorite mac and cheese, but Lily couldn't eat. Sweetie, her dad began gently, we need to talk about Copper. I know what Dr. Wilson said, Lily interrupted, her voice wobbling. But we still have 2 more weeks. You promised me 2 months. Her parents exchanged looks. Lily, her mom said, sometimes the kindest thing we can do for someone we love is to not let them suffer. Copper is in pain now. The infection makes everything harder. But what if he gets better? What if the medicine works? Lily pleaded. Even if the infection clears up, he still can't walk, her dad explained. And now we know he'll keep getting these infections. It's not fair to him. Lily pushed away from the table, tears streaming down her face. You promised, she whispered before running to her room. That night, after her parents thought she was asleep, Lily slipped out of bed. She put on her raincoat over her pajamas, it was pouring outside, and tiptoed downstairs and out the back door. The rain soaked her as she ran to the stable. Inside, Copper lay in the same spot, his breathing labored. Lily grabbed the medicine Dr. Wilson had left to clean his sores and the cool cloths she'd been using for his fever. I'm not giving up on you, she told him fiercely. Not ever. Through the night, Lily worked. She cleaned Copper's sores exactly as Dr. Wilson had shown them. She changed the cool cloths when they got warm. She gave him water through a special bottle, drop by drop. She sang to him, read to him from the book she'd brought, and told him stories about all the things they would do when he got better. As the hours passed, Lily's eyes grew heavy, but she fought sleep. She curled up against Copper's neck, her small hand resting on his mane. Please get better, she whispered. Please. That's how her parents found her in the morning, fast asleep against Copper, surrounded by medicine bottles and damp cloths. They stood in the stable doorway, watching their daughter's complete devotion to her horse. She's not going to give up, is she? Her mom whispered. Her dad shook his head. No, and maybe we shouldn't either. What they didn't know then was that this long, desperate night would mark a turning point, not just for Copper's health, but for what everyone believed was possible. 3 days after that rainy night, something changed in the stable. The morning light filtered through the cracks in the wooden walls as Lily arrived with her usual bag of supplies. But today, Copper lifted his head the moment she walked in. Good morning, boy, Lily said, setting down her backpack. She'd started bringing her school things to the stable so she could get ready after her morning therapy sessions with Copper. Copper made a soft whinnying sound that Lily hadn't heard since before his injury. It wasn't loud, but it was clear. He was happy to see her. You sound better, she exclaimed, rushing to his side. She put her hand on his neck. The fever that had scared everyone was gone. Dr. Wilson's antibiotics were working. The infection that had threatened Copper's life was retreating, and with it, some of the pain that had made him so quiet and still. Lily's nighttime care had helped too. Her parents had found her asleep in the stable 3 nights in a row, despite their efforts to keep her in her bed. "You're fighting," Lily whispered to Copper as she began her morning massage routine, "just like I knew you would." As the days passed, Copper grew more alert. He began to show interest in what was happening around him again, turning his head toward sounds, watching the barn cats as they prowled for mice, nickering softly when Lily's dad came to check on him. One morning, as Lily massaged Copper's hind legs, she felt something that made her gasp. When she pressed on a certain muscle, Copper's leg twitched, not just a random spasm, but a response to her touch. "Dad," she called out. Her father was fixing a broken board nearby. "Dad, come quick." He hurried over, worried. "What's wrong?" "Nothing's wrong," Lily said, her eyes shining. "Watch this." She pressed on the same spot, and again, Copper's leg moved slightly. Her dad knelt down to look closer. "Do it again," he said quietly. Lily repeated the motion, and once again, Copper's leg responded. That's not supposed to happen," her dad said, his voice filled with wonder. "Dr. Wilson said the nerves were damaged." "Maybe they're healing," Lily suggested, hope bubbling up inside her. Maybe he just needed time. That afternoon, when Dr. Wilson came for her weekly checkup, Lily could barely contain herself. "I have to show you something," she blurted out the moment the vet arrived. Dr. Wilson followed Lily to Copper's side, expecting to check on the healing infection. Instead, Lily demonstrated the leg response. The vet's professional composure slipped for a moment, her eyes widening in surprise. "That's a reflex response," she said, watching carefully as Lily triggered it again. "The pathway between his brain and legs, there might be some healing happening." "So he could walk again?" Lily asked eagerly. Dr. Wilson hesitated. "I don't want to get your hopes too high. This is a small sign, not a guarantee. But it's definitely something I didn't expect to see." She spent extra time examining Copper that day, testing other reflexes, checking his spine carefully. "His infection is clearing up nicely," she told Lily's parents. "And there are some neurological responses I wouldn't have predicted. I've been a vet for 30 years, and sometimes animals still surprise me." That evening at dinner, the mood was lighter than it had been in weeks. Lily's mom had made a small cake to celebrate Copper's improvement. "To our little horse doctor," her dad said, raising his glass of milk in a toast to Lily. She giggled. "I'm not a doctor yet." "Well, you're doing something even Dr. Wilson thought was impossible," her mom pointed out. "That's pretty special." The next day, they tried something new. With Copper's infection healing and the small signs of nerve function returning, Lily's dad adjusted the special sling they'd built. Instead of just supporting Copper completely, they modified it to help him try to put a little weight on his legs. "We'll go super slow," her dad cautioned as they worked. "Just a few seconds at first." Lily nodded, her face serious with concentration. This was a big moment in their journey. The first attempt was nerve-wracking. As they carefully raised Copper using the sling, Lily stood in front of him, speaking softly. "It's okay, boy. Just try, just a little." For a breathless moment, it seemed like nothing would happen. Copper hung in the sling, his legs dangling uselessly. But then, as Lily held a carrot just in front of him, his front right leg stretched out slightly, foot pointing toward the ground. It wasn't weight-bearing. It wasn't walking. But it was intentional movement. Copper was trying. "Did you see that?" Lily whispered, not wanting to break the magic of the moment. Her dad nodded, too moved to speak. Word about Copper's small improvements spread through their small town. Neighbors who had heard about the paralyzed horse began stopping by, curious to see the progress and the little girl behind it. Some brought treats for Copper. Others brought books about horse rehabilitation for Lily. What was happening in that stable was starting to feel like something special, something that went beyond just one horse and one determined little girl. It was becoming a story about hope, about refusing to give up when everyone else had. And it was far from over. The calendar on the kitchen wall now had 58 golden star stickers. Just 2 days remained before Lily's promised 2 months would be up. The pressure was building, but Lily tried not to think about it as she headed to the stable early that morning. The air was crisp, with autumn leaves crunching under her boots. She carried a basket of fresh apples she picked yesterday from their neighbor's orchard. Mr. Peterson had insisted she take them for Copper when he heard about the horse's progress. "Morning, Copper," Lily called as she entered the stable. To her surprise, she found her dad already there, adjusting the sling system they'd been using for Copper's standing practice. "You're up early," she said, setting down her basket. Her dad smiled. "I had an idea last night about how to improve this. The way we've been doing it, Copper can only practice for a minute or two before we have to let him rest. I think I found a way to make it more comfortable for him." Lily watched as her dad showed her the modifications. Extra padding where the straps met Copper's body, and a new pulley system that would make raising and lowering him smoother. "Can we try it now?" Lily asked eagerly. Her dad checked his watch. "Don't you have school?" "Please," Lily begged. "Just once before I go, I want to see if it works better." He couldn't resist her hopeful face. "All right, one quick try." Together, they prepared Copper for the sling. Over the weeks, the horse had gotten used to the routine. He seemed to understand they were trying to help him and cooperated as best he could. Once Copper was secure in the improved sling, Lily's dad slowly began raising him until his hooves just touched the ground. "Talk to him," her dad encouraged. "He responds best to you." Lily stood in front of Copper, holding an apple just beyond his reach. "Come on, boy," she said softly. "Try to take a step. You can do it." Copper's eyes focused on the apple. His front right leg, the one that had shown the most response in their therapy, twitched. Then, incredibly, he lifted it slightly and moved it forward about an inch. "Dad," Lily gasped. "Did you see that?" Her dad nodded, hardly believing his eyes. That was different. That wasn't just a reflex. They tried again. Lily moved the apple a little to the side, and Copper again shifted his leg, trying to follow it. "He's trying to walk," Lily whispered, tears filling her eyes. The moment was interrupted by her mom calling from the house. "Lily, the bus will be here in 10 minutes. "I've got to go," she said reluctantly to her dad. "But can we try again this afternoon? For longer?" "Absolutely," he promised, carefully lowering Copper back down. "I'll stay with him a bit this morning and do some of the exercises you showed me." All day at school, Lily could barely concentrate. During math, her teacher, Mrs. Brown, had to call her name twice before she realized she was being asked a question. "Sorry," Lily said, blushing. "I was thinking about Copper." Mrs. Brown smiled understandingly. The whole school knew about Lily's mission to save her horse. "How is he doing?" she asked. "He moved his leg today," Lily announced proudly. "Not just a twitch, he tried to take a step." A ripple of excitement went through the classroom. Many of Lily's classmates had been following Copper's story. Some had even visited the farm with their parents to see the famous horse. "That's wonderful news," Mrs. Brown said. "Maybe you can write about it for your journal entry today." By the time Lily got home that afternoon, word had spread. 3 cars were parked outside their farmhouse. She recognized them all: Dr. Wilson's truck, Mr. Peterson's old blue car, and Mrs. Garcia's minivan. Mrs. Garcia was a reporter for the local newspaper. Lily raced to the stable, her heart pounding. Inside, she found quite a crowd. Her parents, Dr. Wilson, and the visitors were all watching as her dad demonstrated the sling system. "Lily's here," someone called out when she appeared in the doorway. Everyone turned to look at her, and her mom hurried over. "Honey, Copper did it again. Your dad was showing Dr. Wilson the new sling, and Copper moved his legs twice more. Dr. Wilson recorded it on her phone." Dr. Wilson stepped forward, her face showing genuine amazement. "I've been telling them, Lily, in 30 years as a veterinarian, I've never seen anything like this. Horses with this kind of injury don't recover this way. It defies everything in the medical books. Can I see him try again?" Lily asked, dropping her backpack and moving toward Copper. The adults made way for her. This was her miracle, after all. As everyone watched in hushed silence, Lily approached Copper, who was already in the sling. She took an apple from the basket and held it up. "Hi, boy," she said softly. "Show everyone what you showed me this morning. Show them you can do the impossible." There was a moment of complete stillness. Then, as if he understood every word, Copper lifted his right front leg and moved it forward. Then, to everyone's astonishment, he did the same with his left front leg. The stable erupted in gasps and exclamations. Mrs. Garcia was frantically taking photos. Dr. Wilson was shaking her head in disbelief. But Lily only had eyes for Copper. In that moment, with tears streaming down her face, she finally knew for certain they were going to make it. Against all odds, the impossible was becoming possible. The big day arrived with a perfect autumn morning. The sun painted the farm in golden light as people began to gather outside the Collins family barn. Word had spread far beyond their small town about the miracle that was about to happen. Exactly 9 weeks after Copper's injury, 1 week past the 2-month deadline Lily had asked for, today was the day they would try something that had seemed completely impossible just weeks ago. Today, Copper would walk outside for the first time. Lily stood in the stable, brushing Copper's coat until it gleamed. She'd woken up extra early to braid colorful ribbons into his mane, red, blue, and yellow strands woven together. "You look so handsome," she told him, stepping back to admire her work. Her dad poked his head into the stall. "It's almost time, kiddo. There are a lot of people out there." Lily nodded, her stomach fluttering with nerves and excitement. "Is Dr. Wilson here?" "Front and center," her dad confirmed. "And Mrs. Garcia from the newspaper and your teacher brought your whole class on a field trip." The past week had been full of careful preparation. After Copper had shown he could take small steps while supported by the sling, they'd gradually increased his standing time. Dr. Wilson had adjusted his therapy, focusing on building strength in the muscles that were responding. Lily had worked with Copper for hours each day, encouraging each tiny movement, celebrating every bit of progress. Yesterday, they tried a new harness, one that would allow Copper more freedom of movement while still providing support if his legs gave out. It had worked better than anyone dared hope. "Ready?" Lily's mom asked, entering the stable with a small box in her hands. Lily took a deep breath and nodded. "I have something for you," her mom said, opening the box. Inside was a shiny blue ribbon, just like the kind given at horse shows. Written on it in gold letters were the words, "World's Best Horse Healer." "Oh." Lily gasped as her mom pinned it to her overalls. "You've earned it," her mom said, brushing away a tear. Outside, the crowd had grown larger than Lily expected. It seemed like everyone from town had come to witness Copper's walk. Children held handmade signs with messages like, "Go Copper Go," and "Lily and Copper, Dream Team." Someone had even brought carrot cupcakes to celebrate. Dr. Wilson greeted Lily with a warm smile. "Today's a big day in veterinary history," she said. "I've already written up Copper's case for the National Veterinary Journal. Nobody's going to believe it without seeing it." Lily's dad had cleared a path from the stable door to the small paddock. They'd lined it with soft sawdust to make it easier for Copper to walk. The special harness was ready, with Lily's dad and 2 neighbors standing by to help support Copper if needed. A hush fell over the crowd as the stable door opened wider. Lily's dad went in first, emerging a moment later with the lead rope in his hand. Then came Copper, wearing his special harness but actually walking, on his own 4 legs. His gait was uneven and careful. His back legs didn't lift as high as they once had, and his steps were slow and deliberate. But he was walking. Behind him came Lily, one hand lightly resting on his side, her face shining with pure joy. The crowd erupted in cheers and applause. Lily's classmates jumped up and down, waving their signs. Even Dr. Wilson was wiping tears from her eyes. Step by careful step, Copper made his way across the yard. When he reached the paddock gate, Lily's dad opened it wide. Inside was a special treat, fresh green grass in the sunshine, something Copper hadn't enjoyed since his injury. As Copper took his first steps into the paddock, Lily turned to face the crowd. Her small voice somehow carried across the yard as she spoke. "Everyone said it was impossible," she said, "but Copper just needed someone to believe in him. And I did. I always did." Her simple words touched everyone who heard them. Parents hugged their children a little tighter. Teachers thought about the students they might have given up on too quickly. Neighbors who had been feuding for years suddenly found themselves standing side by side, united in witnessing something remarkable. Copper would never gallop again. His recovery, while miraculous, had limits. But he could walk, graze in the sunshine, and live a comfortable life, all because a 6-year-old girl had refused to give up. In the months that followed, Lily and Copper became somewhat famous. People wrote articles about them, and families with sick animals would visit, seeking hope and advice. Children's hospitals asked for photos of Copper to show their young patients what determination could achieve. But the most important change wasn't in Copper or even in Lily. It was in everyone who heard their story. A reminder that sometimes the most powerful force in the world is the simple, stubborn belief that impossibles can become possibles after all. As the golden autumn sunlight bathed the little farm that day, Copper lowered his head to graze, while Lily sat cross-legged nearby, watching him with quiet pride. Against all odds, they had done it, together.